welcome to Peaceful Warrior. Let's take a moment to find our seat. So finding your seat is not something you do once, it's something you do over and over and over again. One of the aspirations of yoga, at least thousands of years ago, was if you could find your right seat, meditation would become spontaneous. So the science of yoga became an experiment to work towards finding your right seat. Seat means asana in yoga. So ground down the sit bones. Feel the sit bones evenly weighted into your seat. Rock the pelvis slightly forwards and backwards. Find neutral with a slight bias forward. And as you inhale, push down through the sit bones. And as you exhale, lift the rib cage up, lift the shoulders up towards the ears, back, and let the shoulder blades slide down the spine and the hands rest on the lap, palms up. Create little micro movements with the head until you feel the head become very light. So light that it starts to float upwards. So the spine decompresses. Shoulders relaxed. And there's this blend of a small amount of effort mixed with relaxation, mixed with growing taller with each breath. Begin to breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, gently pull the navel back towards the spine. You feel a tightening in the belly. Relax as you inhale. Let the breath become horizontal. The belly expands forwards as you breathe in. The lower back expands backwards as you breathe in. And imagine you have a girdle on around the waist and you feel each time you breathe, you push into the girdle frontwards, backwards, and to the sides. Each time you breathe out, you pull the navel back, the girdle loosens and then tightens again as you breathe, belly expands. Push into the girdle and then feel the girdle grow upwards. Let the breath become vertical, moving into the ribs, the chest, and the back. The breath becomes 360 degrees. Starting deep down in the belly, moving into the ribs and the chest. might even feel it move and fill the armpits as you breathe in. Let the breath grow even deeper. Feeling it lift the collarbones. Feeling the breath move vertically even further into the throat, into the top of the head. So everywhere inside of you from the waist up is breath. Making space for the breath. Growing the breath. On the next inhale, lift the arms above the head. Exhale, float the hands down. Flying with those big wings now. Filling from the waist to the top of the skull with breath, and the hands, the arms float with each inhale and float down with each exhale. And let the head start to nod gently with each movement. So as you inhale, the chin starts to lift up. The eyes look up as if you're looking into the sky. And as you exhale, the chin floats slowly towards the chest. Shoulders come forward and there's a rounding in the back. Continue at your own pace. Amplify the movement as the body warms. For 5 more breaths. Three more breaths. Add the ujjayi sound if you haven't already. And on the last breath, hold the arms above the head. Interlace the fingers. Cross the thumbs and the pointer fingers point up into steeple pose. Lean into the left sit bone and lengthen through the right side. Let that left hand pull up that right hand. Feel the stretch through the ribs. Now keep the height. Come back to center. Lean a little bit to the other side and pull that left hand up. Feel the ribs lift up. Keep the height on both sides as you come back to center. And reach higher. Exhale, pull back through the navel. The next time you inhale, hold the breath and reach. Exhale, slowly release. Keep the height. Float the hands back to the lap. Lean forward and bring the head towards the earth into child pose. Notice if you have an intention for your practice today. What would you like to get from today's class? Bring that intention into your mind, into your heart, as you slide the hands back under the shoulders. Coming into tabletop. Spread the hands comfortably wide as you push the tailbone back, as if someone's pulling your hips back. And then someone pulls your head forward. So you're in this compromise, like the two ends of a dinner table being extended for guests. One end pulling forward, one pulling backward. Feel the spine lengthen. And from here, start to turn the hips in a slow circle. Let the circle gradually grow. Notice how the weight shifts backwards and forwards, side to side. And let the head start to become loose. So the head moves. It's not stuck at the end of the spine. It has its own little circular movements as well. It's as if your whole spine has become alive. Snake-like, fluid-like. It's not a rigid set of bones. It has billions of movements. At some point, change direction, rotating in the opposite direction. Noticing if that seems different. Start to slow the movement down. Come to your elbows, come onto your forearms here. Drop the chin to the chest and feel the back of the neck relax. Lean into the right knee as you extend the left knee out. Left foot on the mat. And keeping your balance, lean into that right elbow, lift the left hand to the sky. Come down and change sides. Drop the left elbow, drop the left knee, extend the right knee. Push out through the right heel. Lean into that left elbow and lift the right hand. Return to this Sphinx table. Elbows on the ground, curl the toes and lift the knees. Lift the knees for a moment. So just the balls of the feet and the forearms on the ground. And start to straighten the legs. Push the hips back and start to walk the feet a little forward into dolphin pose. Keep the big toes grounded as you push back through the heels. Hips come back, shoulder blades apart. Exhale, drop the knees. Point the toes and grab the heel bones of the feet, head on the ground. Embryo. Inhale, lift the torso, float up into Vajrasana. And exhale, twist to the left. And use a block in Vajrasana if the knees or the ankles are tight or injured. Keep the twist to the left as you turn the head to the right. Relax the right shoulder. And allow the spine to come back to neutral. As you twist to the other side, turning the head gradually to the left, relax the left shoulder. Relax the arms, come back to neutral as you bring the hands down underneath the shoulders, tabletop, curl the toes. Lift the knees and press back into bent knee, downward dog. Lengthen through the arms. Lengthen through the spine. Now walk the dog. Press one heel down and then switch. Keep walking your dog until your dog feels it wants to pause and come into downward facing dog. Lengthen through the arms. Keep the weight on the thumbs and the index finger. Lift the right foot high to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee and try to point the knee towards the ceiling, opening up that right groin area. Straighten the leg and then step the right foot forward to the right wrist. Come down onto the left knee. Keep the hands under the heart for now. And point the toes of the left foot. Feel that dragon pose. Keeping the weight into the hands, rotate the right foot out towards the edge of the mat. That's it. And then back to neutral. So we're just going to be rotating that right foot out and back. Just opening up that right hip. The next time you open it, consider coming down onto your elbows and holding dragon on the elbows. Just an invitation. If it feels right, do it. Otherwise, stay with the hands. Bring the hands back under the heart. Rotate the foot back to neutral. Now curl the toes of the left foot and lift the left knee. Take the weight into the left hand and reach up with the right hand, twist. Bring the right hand back, Readjust the weight carefully as you lift the left hand, twist. Bring that left hand down and step back, downward dog. Left foot high to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend the left knee, try to point the left knee towards the ceiling. And then straighten as you step that left foot forward to that left wrist. Hands stay under the heart. Drop the right knee, point the right toes. Dragon. Rotate the left foot towards the edge of the mat and back. Opening up the left groin here. And if at any time your wrist doesn't enjoy this, make closed fists. Lean on your fists. The next time that left foot opens, invite the elbows to ground you into deeper dragon. Breathe into the sensations deeper dragon brings. Hands under the heart. Bring that foot back to neutral as you curl the toes of the right foot and lift the right knee. Take the weight into the right hand as you lift the left hand into revolve twist. Left hand down. Find your balance point as you lift the right hand. Exhale down, step back, downward dog. Bring the head forward here, high plank. Drop the knees, lift the feet. Push the hips back a little bit as you bend the elbows. Drop the chest and the chin to the mat. Keep the hips up like you're a little worm. Float the feet and the hips to the mat. Keep the hands on the mat. Let the elbows squeeze into your rib cage as you lift the head. Lift the shoulders. Now lift the heart. Feel cobra. Shoulders back and down. Press up onto all fours once again, tabletop. And now start to revolve in a circle. Notice if the spine has changed. Notice if there's a difference in these circles than a few moments ago. Keep the head relaxed. And then the other direction. Come to neutral, come to pause, to stillness, lengthen the spine. You've got guests again. Let the table lengthen, tailbone out, back, head forward, shoulders back away from ears. Curl the toes, downward dog, right foot high. This time step the right foot forward, keep the hands under the heart, keep the left knee lifted this time. Bring the hands up onto the thigh for a moment so the torso floats up, head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and you're feeling the strength of the legs. Bring the left hand to the sky. Bring the left hand behind you. Feel the balance as you shift the center of gravity. Right hand forward. Come back to neutral, both hands on the thigh. Find your balance point here. Bring the right shoulder back as the left hand goes forward. And right hand back. Bring both hands to that front thigh as you float both hands up into warrior one with heel lift. Step back, downward dog. Head forward, high plank. Drop knees, chest, chin, inchworm. Inhale, cobra. Downward dog. Left foot high to the sky, three-legged dog. Step forward, keep the right knee lifted, hands under the heart. Work on that back foot for a moment. Just adjust the back foot. You want the back foot fairly wide towards the right side of the mat. Avoid a tightrope situation here. Clamber up, hands on the thigh. Good posture here, even though that back hip flexor is working hard. Lift the right hand to the sky. Bring the right hand forward, left hand back. Come back to the thigh, and then bring that left hand up and forward, right hand back. Come back to neutral, lift both hands, warrior one. This is a big leg workout, I know. Step back, downward dog. Modified vinyasa here, knees, chest, chin, inchworm. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, come all the way back to child pose. Knees wide. Good. Inhale, tabletop. Let's try cat and cow. With the awareness that your spine is supple and fluid. See if you can bring a rope-like quality to the spine. Just like you grab a rope and you whip it. And there's a wave that moves through the rope from your hand to the other end. See if you can visualize that wave moving through your spine. starting at the tailbone and ending in the neck in both directions. So the tailbone begins the movement and the neck ends the movement. And you literally feel a wave ripple through the spine. The next time you inhale, lift the right hand and thread the needle. Lean into the right side of the body and feel how the left leg naturally straightens here. Keep the ball of the left foot on the ground and just feel that. Feel yourself take the weight as you lift the left foot to the sky. Lift and lower that left foot. Feel how the center of gravity, the balance point, shifts slightly as that leg lifts and lowers. See if you can negotiate a balance point that keeps that movement as stable as possible in the rest of the body. The next time you lift, pause and hold, let the left hand become lighter and lighter until it also floats up. Make sure there's nothing behind you here. You don't want to roll onto a block. And bring the left hand behind you back into a half bind. Bring that left shoulder back. Oh, feel that opening. And slowly melt out of that shape back to child pose, coming back in your own stages, carefully, slowly. And feel the impact of balanced threaded needle. Come back through tabletop. Let your spine move fluidly between cat and cow. The next time you inhale, left hand to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. Lean into the left side until that right leg naturally straightens, and just feel the deliciousness of that straight leg. Play with your balance as you start to lift that right foot up and down. Endeavoring to find the anchor points on the earth here where you feel most stable. Always making sure there's nothing behind you to roll onto. The next time you lift, pause. Right hand floats up. And you can scratch your back. In your own time, gracefully release and melt back to child. Inhale, tabletop. make sure your blocks are handy here. Cat and cow with that fluid spine. Curl the toes, downward dog. Left foot high to the sky, three-legged dog. Bring the left knee to your left elbow and tap the elbow. And then go back, three-legged dog. Bring the left elbow to the left knee to the right elbow. Tap. Go back to three-legged dog. Once more, left knee to left elbow, and then drop the left shin onto the mat underneath you. Let the left foot come towards the right side of the mat, preparing for pigeon. Drop the right knee. Walk the right knee back until you feel a delicious stretch in the left thigh. Point the toes of the right foot and bring the right hip forward so you're lengthening through the right leg. And bring some blocks underneath you here. Just bring the blocks underneath your shoulders as you play with the hips. Try to keep that back leg nice and straight as you rotate the right hip forward and then the left hip forward. So you create this little rotational movement. Right hip forward, look over the left shoulder, and then left hip forward, look over the right shoulder. So you're kind of getting a torso twist in pigeon. Now the goal here in pigeon is to try and get the hips square. So the right hip comes forward. That's going to be your work here. Right hip forward, hold the square, shoulders back and down. If this feels too intense on the left thigh, prop it up with a blanket. Now walk the hands and the blocks forward and come onto your elbows. As you breathe in heat to the hips. Melt the hips. As you exhale, relax the hips. Breathe in heat to the hips, warm them up. Exhale, relax the hips. So there's a melting happening until your torso sinks down towards the mat even further. Remember to prop up the left hip if at any time it gets too uncomfortable. Can you find a head support with fists or hands or blocks? Support the head. You can have the head on the mat. Let each new breath grow just like you did at the beginning of class. Feel the 360-degree movement of the breath. Belly and back expand. Breathe into your girdle. Feel the ribs expand sideways. Feel the breath fill the armpits. And finally, lengthen the collarbones. Heighten the collarbones. Straighten the arms as you walk the hands back, once again bringing the blocks back. Shoulders back and open the chest into proud pigeon. Curl the toes of the back foot. Keep the hands on the blocks here, this could be fun. And come into plank with the blocks. Push the hips back into block downward dog. Use the blocks for downward dog. Lift the left foot to the sky and shake it about a bit. Bend and straighten the knee. Still using the blocks. Now drop the left foot, lift the right foot. Can you bring the knee, your right knee, to the right elbow? Still on blocks. A little different from before. Kick back, three-legged dog. And then the right knee to the left elbow. Big kick back, three-legged dog. Right knee to the right elbow, and this time come down onto the right shin. Drop the right knee and walk the left knee back until you feel that delicious stretch in the right glute, the right hip. You can bring the blocks back to proud pigeon here. Dropping the left foot. Shoulders back and down. Have that little pigeon chest puff out. And then slowly walk the hands and blocks forward. Coming onto the elbows. Prop up the right thigh if you need to. Create little micro twists here. Left hip forward, right hip back. Look over the right shoulder. Right hip forward, left hip back. Look over the left shoulder. Twisting side to side in micro movements, just feeling the different sensations that brings. The next time the left hip comes forward, keep the hips square as you start to melt into pigeon. Inhale the heat into the hips. Exhale, relax the hips. Elbows flare out as the head comes closer to the earth. Maybe resting the head on fists or hands or blocks. Stay conscious of that left hip coming forward. Melt at your own pace. Until the head reaches the mat for some of us. Slowly straighten the arms as you grab your blocks and walk the blocks back into proud pigeon with the left hip forward, right hip back. So you're still squaring those hips, shoulders back and down. And then curl the toes of the left foot, lift the left knee, And using the blocks, come back to downward dog. Lift that right leg and extend the knee and bend the knee, just getting out any stuckness in that right thigh. Drop the right foot and walk the blocks back towards your feet until you're in a forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the head, float the hands out to the side. Low squat, push through the heel bones as you gradually come up. Reverse swan dive. Hands together at the chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive to the earth. Slide the hands up the shins into pike pose. Legs straight. Spine long. And then exhale, melt to the earth. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Lift the hands, lift the eyes. Press through the heel bones, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to the chest in prayer. 3 breaths here. Eyes closed. And feel the body, the heart, the breath. Two more sun breaths in your own time. All meeting in Samatiti pose of attention. Inhale, float the hands up, clasp the hands, steeple pose. Push the hips a little bit further forward so you feel a squeeze in the buttocks. And as you exhale, lengthen the hands a little more. So squeezing the buttocks and lifting the arms, feel how tall you can become. Now fill the space this time from the feet all the way to the crown of the head with air. And as you exhale, lengthen through the arms and squeeze the buttocks even tighter. Feel every cell in the body receive that air, expand with that air. And as you exhale, everything lengthens. Exhale, release. And find your seat. If you can, find Vajrasana. With or without a block. Adjust the sit bones. Feel them grounded. Feel anchored in your seat. Let each breath be pneumatic. Let it be a pneumatic drilling into the earth as you inhale. The air pushes down through the sit bones into the earth. And as you exhale, as you release the pressure from the body, feel the shoulders relax and the crown of the head float up. Feel your girdle from the armpits down to the hips. Feel the breath move into the girdle in 360 degrees, all directions. Horizontal, vertical, forwards and backwards. Bring your right hand up to the face. And prepare for alternate nostril breathing. And as you come into Nadi Shodhana, resist the temptation to pinch the nostril. Let the finger pad cover the nose. And let the finger pad cover the nose so gently that you can only just feel the connection. Just enough to block the air passage from the nostril. Just like your finger pad would gently touch a wound that's healing and sore. Very gentle. We touch a delicate flower this way without bruising the petals. If the right arm gets tired, bend the left arm underneath and support the elbow. And in that shape, feel the breath continue to deeply expand in all directions. Feel it push against the arms. And start to layer on the sound of the ocean, the Ujjayi ocean sounding breath, the breath of victory. Until you can hear it in your own ears, you can hear your breath. Without straining, never straining. The next time you inhale, hold the breath for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale gently. And then repeat. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. Alternating from side to side with breath retention. If holding the breath feels disturbing, shorten the retention. Hold for a count of 1 or 2. If it feels interesting, experiment with increasing the retention. Always stopping the retention when there's a disturbance. And as you exhale, add a purring sound. Just like an animal purrs. Three more breaths. One more breath. Releasing the technique. And simply noticing. Noticing the state of the mind without judgment. Just letting it be as it is. Bring your hands together at the chest in gratitude for our practice today and each other's company. Namaste. Thank you.